Welcome back in, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Monday. Along with Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, I am Rob Ellis. Hope you're doing well. I hope you had a great weekend. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us, everybody streaming, everybody watching, everybody listening, everybody in the chat section. And let's hit that like button, folks. We do appreciate you very much. That's for sure. All right, guys, let's look at the defensive side of the ball. Now, 20 points allowed. Pretty decent number, at the end of the day. There were a few moments where, like we said, Justin Fields just made some insane plays on his own and really kept plays alive and made big plays down the field. It was unbelievable. But, you look back at the day itself, they end up getting 6 sacks, 2 Reddick, 2 Hargrave, 2 Sweat. Reddick's at 12 for the year. Hargrave's at 10. Sweat 9.5, Brandon Graham's at 8.5. As a team, they have 55, which is first. They had 29 last year. They have 3.8 per game, which is first. The pass rush was something that was an objective to fix. They went out and got Haason Reddick. Let's start with him, man. I mean, this has been one of the all-time great free agent signings the Eagles have ever made.
Almost unblockable. Almost unblockable in the aspect. I mean, he is so quick off the ball. His second and third move, his hand placement, the way he hand fights, he's taking it to another level because you have to allocate resources to him, which is allowing everybody else to eat. You send a line his way, and he's fast enough to still beat you on the outside. They didn't have an answer to him. He should have had 5 sacks
at least.
But the quarterback's so good. Now a guy like Dak Prescott, he's not going anywhere. He'll be right there.
Yeah.
They may break the clock as far as sacks. I know they have way more than 6 sacks against Dak.
Mm-hmm. The Eagles have done an incredible job feasting on inferior offensive lines all season long. They have utilized that to their ability. The thing that impresses me most about a Haason Reddick is when his first burst off the ball, and I've watched it closely for 2 weeks now. He does an incredible job setting up an offensive tackle to make that tackle think he's going to do one move and do something completely different to get that edge on him. Like he'll fake like he's going to the inside and slap it to the outside. He'll do that slap to the outside and get around him, or he'll fake like he's going outside and go right up under him and stuff. And teams that study this stuff, it's amazing how they still can't counter for it with him. And most teams are still dumb enough to just have a one-on-one situation, a tackle one-on-one against Haason Reddick. I haven't seen many teams try to chip Reddick, to be honest with you. They've left him on an island, and he's become hell to deal with for opposing offensive tackles.
Yeah, he really has, man. And you look at his numbers, and I found this pretty cool yesterday, Barrett. Your partner on your NBC, one of your partners on NBC Sports Philadelphia, Ron Jaworski, put this tweet out there regarding Reddick. How about this? Since 2020, so 20, 21, 22, last 3 years, QB sacks, you got Myles Garrett and TJ Watt, who are tied at 41.5. You know who's second behind them? Haason Reddick at 35.5. Most forced fumbles in that time span. Haason Reddick has 12. He's first. Shaq Leonard 11. Aaron Donald 9. Not only, and we saw it again yesterday, he not only gets the strip, gets the recovery too yesterday. This dude is around the ball. He's, of course, when you get sacks, you're going to get strip sacks sometimes, but it's not just, on strip sacks. He's a guy who will punch the ball loose. He's an opportunistic player. Barrett, you pointed out earlier in the year, man, just play him at defensive end and let's not worry about his size and all that other stuff. This dude has a nose for the quarterback, period.
Yeah. Bro, for a long time, everybody kept saying, what are we going to do to make Haason Reddick a better player? How are we going to move him around? I said, no. We're going about it the wrong way. They tried that in Arizona. Then they put him at defensive end with the Panthers, and he blossomed. This year, just put him on one side and let him go, or just leave him where he's going to be at and just let him go. You know what I'm saying? And that's all you had to do. Just let him go feast. Mm-hmm. And that's what they're doing. They're letting him stay on that side, rush the passer against inferior pass. Usually you put your best pass rusher on the left side. You say your left side is where you put the premier pass rushers. You put guys because it's the blind side of the quarterback. Well, they said, you know what? I'm gonna put you right in front of him. I want you to see him coming in your face, but he gets off so quick that the quarterback does see it happening, and then the guys on the other side are feasting because of it. The guys on the inside are feasting because of it, because it makes the quarterback play frenetically, and now you can't get a beat on what's going on down the field because you're so worried about what's going on in front of you.
Mm.
So it's great how they play him, and he's taking full advantage of it.
Yeah. You're dead on. You're dead on. And he's been amazing. And it's not just him. You know, we talk a lot about how Jordan Davis and or maybe drafting somebody because you're going to lose your two defensive tackles, Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave. We might need to re-examine Javon Hargrave walking out the door. This guy's playing the best football of his career.
He can't go.
Yeah.
He's one of the
Who can't go?
Javon Hargrave.
Okay, let me ask you this then. You said he can't go after this season. Is that what you're saying?
I don't want him to go, yeah.
Okay, then let's prioritize. Who do you keep? You're not keeping everybody. Right. Who do you keep?
Well, if you look at it, you got C.J. Garner-Johnson.
Yep.
You got Bradbury.
Yep.
T.J. Edwards. You got Hargrave.
And Fletcher Cox.
You can only keep two.
Okay, so put them in chronological order. Who's at the top of the pecking order?
Bradbury.
I agree.
Is one. Boy.
Who's two?
I mean, who's even one? I mean,
I said Bradbury because very few teams have two lockdown corners. That's a premium nowadays if you have two lockdown corners in his passing game that we watch. Who's number two?
I tell you, I might go Bradbury Hargrave. I know I've moved on this a little bit. It's hard.
More than CJ?
I think
more than TJ.
I think they can get three back.
Or TJ?
I think they can bring three back.
If depends on how they win and if they decide to give Hurts his money. They could very easily franchise Hurts. Now, it costs them a pretty penny, but it's a lot cheaper to franchise him for 1 year than it is to give him that monster contract right now.
You know what we're going to start seeing real soon is contracts being converted into like signing bonuses and stuff.
Oh, I know.
That's coming.
Well, you look at Coach. You know, Coach is saying TJ and Bradbury. I think more so like TJ and Bradbury also. I have TJ almost being number one.
Why? You have Nakobe Dean waiting in the wings.
Well, we still have Kazir White. He'll take Kazir White's place.
You could, technically, with 2 first-round picks, you could draft the linebacker of the future. You could draft the safety of the future. I mean, you look at what Joe Douglas did with the Jets with those 3 first-round picks he got. He went out and got
an edge rusher,
an elite cornerback, and what was the third one? A running back? No,
receiver, isn't it?
Receiver?
No, he got a corner. He got a corner. He got the kid from Florida State, didn't he?
Yeah, Jermaine Johnson, and
then he got one more. What was it?
It's gonna drive me nuts.
Wilson, was it Wilson?
The receiver out of Ohio State.
Yes. Yeah, Wilson. Yeah. He got the receiver. Yeah, I knew he got the receiver. So
yeah,
that's awful tough, man. Because
he got Sauce Gardner, he got Garrett Wilson and Jermaine Johnson. Yeah, so he got the DN cornerback of the future, and both of them have played well, and he got an incredible wide receiver.
Yeah.
So when you look at the Eagles situation, you have a quarterback that you're going to have to address. And even if they don't give him that mega contract in 2023, you're still going to increase his pay, number one. You are looking at 4 other potential players. Hargrave, Kazir White, CJ, Bradbury, TJ Edwards. Everybody's not wearing an Eagles uniform in 23.
Sure. Yeah. Some of these guys aren't going to be here.
No.
Plain and simple. They're just not.
No.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah,
you got to get cheaper.
But
that's hard right now, man. Like
it's a tough to say, and I think it's something we can revisit for sure. But it's a good discussion for no doubt. The guys, they're 7 sacks away from the all-time record from tying it.
What, 62?
62 is the all-time mark for a team. They They said it in 1989. That was Reggie and Clyde Simmons and that crew. That's pretty remarkable. They might get over 60 from 29 the year before.
Wow. This may be the first time that you ever have a team with 4 double-digit sack guys.
That's correct. It's never happened in NFL history. You've already got 2, and you're one that's a half away, and one's a sack and a half away.
I'm glad you brought up sacks. My question is, does Brandon Graham get double digits finally for the first time in his career?
Yes.
Wait. I'm glad you said that, Mr. Brooks, because I pulled up the numbers, okay? Go back to 17 when it was a given that he was going to get 10 sacks, okay? So on December 3rd of 2017, they played Seattle. He had 1.5 sacks that game, gave him 8.5. On the 10th of December, he got none against the Rams. On the 17th versus the Giants, he got 1. And on the Christmas Day against Oakland, he got 0, ended up with 9.5. So where is he right now? He had 3 against the Giants on December 11th. They put him at 8.5. None against Chicago. He still has Dallas, New Orleans, and the Giants. Mm-hmm. Now, the New Orleans has only given up 30 sacks this year. Dalton has been sacked only 18 times, considering how inconsistent he's played. The Giants or the Dallas Cowboys are basically his options.
I agree.
So will he get to 10? Will he get to 10? Yeah. Now, the funny thing is, I gotta meet up with Brandon at 5:30 later today. He's going to do a favor for me before he does his show at Chickies and Peace. So I text him. I said, dude, will you please get these 10 sacks so we can stop talking about this? He goes, oh, I know it. And it'll come when it's supposed to happen. Yeah. I'm like, what does that mean?
Wow.
But he should have had a couple. He should have had a couple yesterday, but Brandon Graham ain't catching Justin Fields off that edge.
That's not a great matchup for BG. No, that one. Look, he's hard on anybody to bring down. Not just Brandon.
Exactly.
Let's be clear. And look, again, I go back to this. Sometimes you tip your hat. Sometimes people are extraordinary. Like Justin Fields is an extraordinary athlete. You know, like we could sit here and say, oh, you got to form tackle him better and bring him down. Okay. I mean, maybe, but he's doing this every week. There's a reason why this guy's over 1,000 yards. He's unbelievable. And there's going to be hell to pay when that dude gets some help.
Oh my goodness.
But they're not there yet, and he made it difficult. He did. And the Eagles made it difficult on themselves early with some mistakes. And late, Miles was in the second half with the fumble, which we haven't seen all year from him, by the way. First fumble for Miles Sanders this year. Jalen had only thrown 3 picks all year. This was uncharacteristic. And one of them is on Quez Watkins. By the way, Quez Watkins has to be better. Can we just talk about that for a second here?
Yes.
He's got to be better, period. Not just that pattern, but with everything.
That explains why he doesn't get more looks. As fast as he is. You got to earn it, dude. And I thought this would be his breakout year. And we keep talking about why does Quez not get more looks? And now we know why. He still hasn't excelled to that level. He hasn't, I don't think he's elevated his game. And I'm not talking about just catching the ball, but in terms of route running, being more assertive in the 50-50 balls, things like that. He still has not taken that next step yet.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is frustrating for a coaching staff.
Yeah, and they're trying to get him involved too.
Yeah, they are.
Probably too much in my estimation, but that's a different discussion.
But going back to what I had asked you guys before, prioritizing defensive personnel and just looking at what the Jets did, I could see this team. If Bradbury is going to want a lot of money, I could see the team using that 5th overall pick to take a quarterback. Kazir White may want too much money. I could see him using that 2nd pick in the draft, take a linebacker, or take the linebacker first, cornerback second. I can see that happening. I'm with Rob in terms of I think Bradbury is the priority here. But what is the Eagles' cap on how much they want to pay a cornerback when you're already paying Darius Slay a lot of money?
Yeah.
I mean, very few teams put that kind of investment into 2 cornerbacks. It's the luck of the draw a lot of times that you got one you brought in paid, and then you have one already in the fold who's a premium cornerback you have at a decent price. I can't see them paying 2 cornerbacks that kind of money when they have so many other concerns to worry about.
What brings us to what is the Eagles' biggest need come draft time? We already talking about draft time and everything.
Well, I know.
What is the biggest need? You know, I mean, look pretty much balanced everywhere. You know, and balance being the key. So many free agents. I'm gonna hold that back. You know,
Barrett, their need is going to be their need's going to be whoever walks. Like if it's Bradbury, the need becomes corner. If it's Kaiser White, it becomes linebacker. If it's Hargrave and Cox, it becomes tackle. To team up with Davis. If CJ walks, it's safety. So I think it could be any of the above. That's a fluid situation for what in my opinion.
We haven't even talked about Miles possibly walking out that door.
That's true too. And let's face it, as much as we like Boston Scott and Gainwell, there's not a number one out of those two.
No.
So
no, right.
You know, you would need a number one if that's the case, you know, for sure. I thought generally yesterday they did a nice job for the most part defensively. There were a couple of moments, couple hiccups here and there, you know, but all in all, hard to complain with a whole lot. Did you guys find any fault with anybody in particular, or did anybody else stand out besides the guys we just talked about on the defensive line?
No, other than doing a little bit better job of trying to contain Justin Fields, but they still got him for 6 sacks.
Yep.
Outside of that, letting him escape at times, that was the only thing. His escapability was the reason why they were able to stay in that game. They gave up 144 yards rushing, something like that. But when you got a quarterback like Justin Fields, obviously those numbers are going to be inflated. Outside of that, Chicago didn't have any receivers you had to worry about going deep with two of their prime pass catchers out. The running game, David Montgomery is decent running back, but he was their third leading back and not their second.
Right.
Well,
yeah. So outside of that,
you're right. You're right. I just don't see at this point that we have anything that we need to worry about, you know, as far as, you know, us stopping that Dallas run game. All right. We were actually last as far as quarterbacks rushing and in containing quarterbacks in their rushing. We were last. I think we gave up like almost 9 yards to opposing quarterbacks that are running, have the ability to run. But I don't think we could have lost to anybody else. We were going to allow David Montgomery to do it. If anybody, you know, we would let Fields do it. But I didn't think, you know, he could do enough to beat us. You know, if we let him have 100 yards, he had 95, we'd still win the game. So I was comfortable with that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, this week, Tony Pollard, man, if we can let him get going, he's a special dude.
That could be the key to the game.
Yeah,
that's that dude.
Because it opens up the pass too. Because now you can't, you got to take your eye off. And I tell you what, crossing routes hurt this Eagles team, and that's what CeeDee Lamb.
I'm glad you said that.
You know, it does. You know, he definitely, you know what I'm saying, can run crossing routes, and he's very good at it too. Very, very good at it.
Well, not just him, but that kid Noah Brown is pretty good at those crossing routes also.
Exactly, yep.
You know, now he made the gaffe yesterday where he should have caught that ball and flipped it up in the air, touchdown, Jacksonville, game over. But he's really coming to his own, you know. Mm-hmm. I think Dak trusts him in a lot of cases more so than Michael Gallup right now. And Gallup's a pretty good receiver. So, but Dallas, CeeDee Lamb and Noah Brown really good at those crossing routes. And let's face it, crossing routes are difficult for any team to defend. Mm-hmm. I thought the Eagles' best defensive stance yesterday, which to me really helped decide the outcome of this game, was Chicago was at the 14-yard line, and Fields got sacked twice in that series and forced Chicago to punt. If they get 3 or 7 on that drive, it's a little bit different game then.
Oh, no question.
But they pushed him out of field goal range. Didn't let
Are you talking about the one at the end of the half, Gunner?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, to me, that the Eagles turn it over. They get the stop. Don't give anything up. They get the sack, which pushes them out of field goal range. They thought he might still attempt. Then they go down and score. That was a huge moment in the game.
Yes.
100%. Yeah.
A lot of the times, man, when I look at defensively, I don't know if you would call it blitzing, but they send 5 a lot of times on rundowns. That's because it's a 5-man defensive line.
Right.
So it's not really a blitz, but you could actually technically call it a blitz because I guess they only think it's blitzing when they have their 4-man front end. But they make sure you man up, man to man on it. That's why they would run those games that they ran, because you had to respect that fifth man coming, and he just happened to be a defensive lineman. Mm-hmm. They ran games so well yesterday. They set up tackles, because those tackles would jump out, especially against, on the outside. They would jump out because they had to get out there real fast. And those interior guys like Fletcher Cox and Hargrave would blow up that tackle, hit him, blindside him from the inside, and he'd be scot-free. And then the defensive end would end up scot-free because, the guard couldn't get off on him that was looping in the inside. Mm-hmm. So they showed some significant progressions in their twist stunt game yesterday.
Yeah, I noticed on Sweat's 2 sacks. I thought they did more twists and stunts than they've done in quite some time.
There's a lot of it. Maybe it was something they saw with the Bears.
Shocked. Yeah, I was shocked with that.
I'll tell you that just real quick on the Cowboys thing. I saw the stat. I meant to throw this at you guys earlier. You guys realize since week 10, Dak's got 9 interceptions.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a boatload of interceptions, man.
Yep.
So if you can contain that run game, force him to throw, you're going to get picks. Like, you're going to get turnovers, and that could flip that game completely on its ear.
Absolutely.
On Saturday. That's going to be a big deal, man, for sure. All right, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the offensive side of the ball, because it was at times a struggle. We still saw some good things, and they were able to put some things together, but it was kind of an up and down day from an offensive perspective. We'll get into that when we come back again. 1:30. Marshall Harris is going to join us. Marshall was feeling good about his squad, his Bears, although he would contest me saying that. But the Bears on Friday.
Hey, make sure you ask Marshall. See, Marshall is not a Bears fan. Ever since I've known Marshall, he has told you who his team is. Ask Marshall who his team is and why. Okay, when we get him on.
All right, we will do that. So Marshall at 1:30, but we're gonna have a little fun with Marshall at 1:30. 2 o'clock, our NFL segment. Lot in store for you. Don't go anywhere. Come back. Eagles offense. Derek, Barrett, Rob. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right, we're going to talk about Pro Action Restoration. Yeah, Pro Action Restoration is the place that you reach out to if your home or your business has gone through the inconvenience of a water, fire, smoke, mold damage, you name it, across the board. Pro Action is on call 24 hours, 7 days a week. I've gone through it on a Saturday, called them in the morning. They were over there right away, cleaned it up, diagnosed the problem. The crew was professional. Price was reasonable. It was an amazing, helpful, sigh of relief kind of experience. Pro Action is licensed, bonded, fully insured. They've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. They will work in conjunction with your insurance company also. So think about it. Water, fire, smoke, mold remediation. You name it, they can handle it. Give them a call, 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760, or online at proactionrestoration.com. That's proactionrestoration.com.
Post-game show with Seth Joyner.
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn.
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney.
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
And Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post-game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.